Welcome to Seize the Mains by Raj Malhotra's IS Academy. I'm Surbhi Sardana and this is Season 3 of our Daily Answer Writing Initiative. This initiative is running in coordination with our website, which is rajisacademy.com. The link to the website can be found in the description given below. It will directly take you to this landing page. On the landing page of our website, there is this mains answer writing section. If you click on this section, this tab will appear. It reads Daily Mains Answer Writing Challenge. So, basically this is the section that has been allocated exclusively to Seize the Mains initiative. From Monday to Saturday at 9 p.m. we bring a question and answer discussion for Civil Services Mains Examination, UPSC and State Civil Services. And these questions, they are framed entirely from current affairs. So, reading newspapers, reading magazines, you can practice answer writing with us here. And these questions are entirely from Civil Services point of view, very analytical questions, very important from your exam point of view. Even if you are sitting for prelims next year or if you do not have mains around, definitely watch the video, participate in this initiative. Just go to mains answer writing section, and today we will be having discussion of question 169. So you see 168 questions have already been discussed on Seize the Mains, and they have all covered 168 topics from current affairs. So that's going to be hugely beneficial for you. Definitely check out mains answer writing section on our website and at least make these answers part of your knowledge. The special part here is that, let's say we are discussing this question today. What you can do is go to question 169 on the website. Under that you will find this comment section which reads start the discussion, and this in start the discussion section or in the comment section, you can share pictures of your answers. Write answer on a piece of paper and just click pictures and post it on the website. Our team will evaluate those answers and give their feedback to you entirely free of cost in the next few days. So that's how you can improve your answer writing skills. So definitely join it. Also, we have this Ignited Current Affairs running here, or it is a monthly subscription model. All the newspapers are covered on a daily basis. Our current affairs expert, Mr. Rahul Singla, takes the discussion of Ignited Current Affairs every morning. So all the newspapers, all the important topics from magazines which are important from civil services point of view, they also get covered. And taken from that, one of the topics discussed in Ignited Current Affairs, we frame a question in Seize the Mains also. But Seize the Mains is entirely free of cost. You do not have to pay anything for it. It appears on YouTube and freely available on our website. So yesterday there was an article in the Hindu regarding South Asia, and how South Asia is not having that kind of regional connect or regional strength when it comes to interaction with interaction amongst different countries, and how countries in North America, they are doing so well by having free trade agreements, transportation agreements and things like that. So relevance of South Asia, that is very important. What other question you can see is that from relevance itself, things can emerge that how South Asia can strengthen its global standing. So both of them would have more or less the same content. So we'll take up this topic with regards to relevance of South Asia. I hope the topic is clear now. So we'll look at this question again. Always go through the question thoroughly, try to understand it. If you find any problems with the language of the question, there is always a translation available in a local language, because both language people would be appearing. So try to read that out and try to understand what the question is trying to ask you. Looking through the lens of regional cooperation means you have to keep regional cooperation in mind. Discuss the relevance of South Asia in current times. So if you talk about regional cooperation in South Asia, how can South Asia benefit from regional cooperation? What are the potential areas which can be which can be strengthened if there is more regional cooperation, and what is the potential of regional cooperation in South Asia? So all things have to be covered. Anything with regards to regional cooperation and relevance of South Asia, that will find mention in our answer. Also, the answer has to be in 150 words. See, there is so much content floating in the market. Definitely use flowcharts, definitely use diagrams which can reduce the number of words that you use, but which can actually help you present more. For example, this is one of the block diagrams. So what you can do is, talking about the relevance of South Asia or regional cooperation in South Asia, you can have your points number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 points can be covered in this, or even more if you have more segregations. Also we see a lot of answers using this clouded boundaries. See, clouded boundaries, sometimes they appear beautiful, but try to ignore such boundaries because you know, it appears to be very informal. So either have rectangular boxes or do not have any boxes, just have simple arrow diagrams for representation, and do resort to these diagrams or these flowcharts for representation, because for questions for answers with just 150 words, you cannot compromise with the content. You need to deliver a lot of content and you cannot cross the word limit also. So definitely focus on the content here, definitely focus on different kind of approaches you can take to, you know, sum up your answer in the requisite word limit. So let's write about South Asia first. We'll start with an introduction. Introduction would be our 3 to 5 lines long, and here we would be talking about what is South Asia, which region is known as South Asia, what are the features of this region. One line would be about features. What is the importance or significance of this region? That would be again your one line, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth line would be about regional cooperation, the current status of regional cooperation in South Asia. Okay, so in your introduction you will be talking about, you will be defining South Asia, you will be talking about its features, how can you, you know, how can you recognize South Asia. You'll talk about the significance, why South Asia is important, and then you will talk about the regional cooperation that is currently in place in South Asia, even if you know, that whether that is good, whether that is bad. Then you will talk about relevance of South Asia from the regional cooperation perspective. That would be our body paragraph. So let's start writing the introduction. So South Asia is defined in both geographical and ethno-cultural terms. It consists of these many countries: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. South Asia holds great geopolitical importance and strategic location for a flourishing democracy, etc. So this is your features part. Alright. Now we'll talk about the importance. Given the deepening polarization in the world, climate chaos and the growing scarcity of resources, it is clear to see that the underpinnings of globalization over the past century are about to be upended, and nearly every other nation is finding its moorings in regionalization and forums back home. Now what is this line trying to say? That, you know, globalization was our solution post World War II. Post World War II, we, you know, came up with United Nations, and globalization, capitalism, everything, basically having open borders. This was the idea floated by the developed world to the entire globe, that if you have open borders, everybody will have a bigger share of the pie, or everybody will grow economically, or trickle down would happen and all areas of the world would grow. But even after existence of globalization and more and more open borders in place, even after decades of its existence, poverty has only gone up, and the difference between rich nations and poor nations, that has widened, that has not decreased. So globalization is not seen as a potential solution. Globalization is not seen as a solution for an ideal existence, for an ideal world order. So what now countries are shifting to? Countries are shifting to better cooperation amongst their own, between their or in their own region itself. For example, North America, it has recently come up with a trade agreement between, or you know, a trade agreement between Canada, Mexico and United States of America. You have many other agreements in place. ASEAN is already operating in, for that Southeast Asia. So you have many agreements or many cooperation levels in place which talk about regional cooperation rather than full-fledged globalization. So this line is basically representing that now globalization is not the solution, regional cooperation is. So South Asia, but the problem with South Asia is that we keep fighting amongst each other. South Asia has a lot of poor countries or not a lot of developed countries, so to say. So regional cooperation is less when it comes to South Asia. We have South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation. Meetings of SAARC have not taken, meetings of SAARC, even if they take place, they are not attended by the members, by all the members, they are not attended. So things like that need to be added in your answer, that, you know, more cooperation needs to be there when it comes to South Asia. So we'll talk about that. Yes, South Asia is not cooperating to the level it could cooperate, and following are the points of relevance of South Asia when it comes to regional cooperation. So South Asia is yet to strengthen its regional cooperation, as existing associations like SAARC, haven't been able to significantly advance regional cooperation here. This region has the following areas of strength, making it extremely relevant. So what are the areas of strength that South Asia has on which it can build upon and more cooperation can be developed? First of all, strategic importance, as it bridges the Indian Ocean to the Pacific and in the east, and the Mediterranean in the west. So strategically very important. Secondly, economically, it has emerged as a vital intersection of maritime trade, connecting countries, producers of natural resources with the consumer states. Thirdly, it has more than 2/3 of global oil, and over 80% of China's and Japan's oil is shipped through this region. So more than, we're talking about the shipping here, we're not talking about the resources. South Asia does not have a lot of oil, but shipping of oil, more than 2/3 of global oil is shipped through this region. Approximately 50% of global container shipments sail on these waters. See, point number 1, 2 and 3, they can be very comfortably clubbed, but if you write them separately, it would become for the examiner to read properly. At least what you can do is talk about clubbing of point number 2 and 3, that can be easily done. Fourth one, South Asia has a very young population, median age of 27, that is the median age of South Asian population. It is the youngest region in Asia based on demographic trends. More than 150 million people in the region are expected to enter the labour market by 2030. The fifth one is terrorism, that South Asia, most countries in South Asia, they are impacted by terrorism. Afghanistan has been taken over by Taliban. So more regional cooperation can ensure better solutions and common solutions which can be implemented by all the countries. So they can cooperate against the developing chaos in Afghanistan and countering extra regional terror threats for South Asia. Terror threats which emerge especially from regions which are not located in South Asia. And SAARC has a major role to play here. Keep mentioning SAARC side by side, because that is the sole organization that works for all the countries that come under South Asia. Then you have the South Asia energy grid in terms of electricity production. Though India has bilateral agreements for electricity generation and production and purchasing of electricity with from Nepal especially, but yes, when it comes to energy grid, there is the South Asia energy grid that would attract investment, result in infrastructure creation and strengthen sub-regional cooperation between BBIN group, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal, and possibly Sri Lanka if Sri Lanka joins it. Then you have regional cooperation in health security. This would be one of the most important points for you. You know that COVID-19 pandemic, it stayed for us, it is still very deadly in many parts of the globe even right now. So the basic problem that we suffered with was that even if a vaccine is developed, how are countries in South Asia, which are mostly developing countries, how are they going to afford it? So yes, Gavi or the Global Vaccine Alliance or the help from WHO, that came up. India took a stand for South Asian nations. India supplied vaccines and medicines to many countries in South Asia, many a times for like free or at a very cheap cost. So here is something, this is the point that in health sector or in the upcoming medicine industry, that is where we need more cooperation, because yes, research on vaccines, it can strengthen if all the South Asian nations come together. Secondly, whatever vaccines are available in the market, their intellectual property rights, which protect them and for which you have to pay a lot of money, a government has to pay a lot of money to buy those vaccines, they can get a waiver, because in cases of public health emergency, intellectual property rights, they take a back seat. So when South Asian nations, they have a collective standing, or when they have a common voice at WTO, there are higher chances of those intellectual property rights to be waived for a few more years. So India has worked bilaterally with most of its neighbors to provide vaccines and COVID-19 medicines. Bilaterally means India had been doing it on its own. So another move may be to unilaterally extend copyright waivers on medical products within South Asia, and that can happen when you contest with with a united voice at WTO. Then you have South Asian countries when it comes to climate change and environment protection, biodiversity protection. That is where South Asian countries, they can benefit from India as well, and India can benefit from other South Asian countries. The linkage between effective governance and sustainable development also needs to be acknowledged in South Asian countries, because global South, Global South needs to have a stronger voice to be able to contest in various COPs for the climate deal that have been taking place, to be able to extract funds out of the out of the industrialized nations. So to have that common voice, to be able to fight climate change, to be able to protect biodiversity, a common voice is more cooperation, more regional cooperation is needed, and this is the potential after better regional cooperation would be a benefit in protecting climate, protecting biodiversity and preventing climate change. Then food security is something that South Asia could take a major initiative in with an eye to the future, increasing the capacity of SAARC food bank that currently stands at less than 5 lakh million tons. So food security is something that we discussed a few days ago also on Seize the Mains. See, food security is something that came into question during the COVID-19 pandemic, that yes, when we were talking about millets a few days ago, food security needs to be focused upon more, food banks need to be developed. Then you have leveraging regional trade that can be done, connectivity and investment, and strengthen the SAFTA, South Asian Free Trade Agreement. So that is there in place, but it needs to be strengthened as a game changer for the region, galvanizing economic energies which would lower barriers to intra-regional food trade and encourage regional supply chains. That can be there. Then in the conclusion, you've already mentioned that that South Asia has not been able to cooperate as a region very strongly, so that needs to be there. Either reiterate that statement or just conclude with the way forward, that boosting regional trade, strengthening existing associations by delinking domestic sentiments. Here we are talking mostly about India, Pakistan. From the economic rationale, engaging in diplomacy to allay concerns should be the way forward for South Asian countries which do have qualms about the integration. Priority should be given to people connections and deep cultural affinities for sustained cordiality and stability, because yes, we do share a common culture, all countries or most countries in South Asia. So further focus should be given to prompt delivery of multilateral commitment for the overall development of the region. So that is that is your way forward. This can be said again, it is it is a very subjective way forward. There is no objectivity in that. You can talk about some objective way forwards also if if you have some points there. Share your answers with us on the website rajayesacademy.com in the mains answer writing section. Look for question 169. Look for question 169 and post your answers in the comment section for this question. I'll see you with another discussion tomorrow at 9 PM of Seize the Mains. Till then, just stay tuned to the channel and all the best.